Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
A real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Hey, folks, today's Monday, December 8, 2025. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is jumping to the United States Senate race, running for U.S. Senate in Texas. We will go live to Dallas for her announcement. The affordability crisis is squeezing everyone, impacting housing, food, child care, health care, and energy. Pennsylvania became the 28th state to pass the Crown Act. A conservative radio host is blasting state legislators, saying they're not doing enough on affordability. I'll talk to her. Let's talk about the facts of the case. Also, Supreme Court heard a significant case on presidential power today, with the conservative majority looking ready to hand the convict in chief another big win. A black pastor blasts those who voted for Trump, calling out some of his congregants. And another black pastor out of Detroit says Trump has done more for me than anybody else black. We're going to break down some black stuff he's ignored. It's time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, y'all. It's Roland Martin, Rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Folks, today is the filing deadline to announce you're running for office in Texas. And this is a live look of the former, the original location of Friendship West Baptist Church, where Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is announcing she's running for the United States Senate. Let's go live there. Here's Pastor Frederick Douglas Haynes III, who also filed today to run for the congressional seat that she was going to run for as well. Let's go live to Dallas. All right, folks. So there's an audio feed. I don't understand what's going on. So let's. What feed are we looking at? Okay. So. Okay, we're seeing this. Yes, it is. I got it on my YouTube channel, folks. I'm listening to it right now. So I don't understand. Go to YouTube. Go to Jasmine Crockett. Go to Jasmine for US. Pull up her YouTube channel. I'm listening to it right now. Okay, I'm telling y'all right now. Okay. I'm listening. Okay, control room. This is literally Freddie Haynes talking right now. So there's audio. So if y'all ain't hearing it, it's an issue in the control room. So there is audio. All right, let's do this here. Go to the feed. Let me go get my iPad, and I'll play it from here. So let's do this here. Play a commercial right now. I'll be right back in 60 seconds.
Violent white supremacy is, quote, the most persistent and lethal threat in the homeland.
The greatest terrorist threat to the homeland is the homegrown violence stream, including hate crime committed on behalf of some kind of white supremacist ideology.
They are coming after everything in Black America. MAGA and Donald Trump are specifically targeting Black America. They are going after the money. Attack Black Lives Matter. Attack critical race theory. Attack woke, DEI. MAGA wants to defund Black America. This is a perfect example of their desire. Y'all, problem fixed. Let's go live to Dallas.
Fight for those who cannot fight for themselves, but also fueled by faith as she puts on the whole armor of God. She's a facilitator. I love that about Jasmine Crockett, because especially during the last administration, she was a facilitator of funding that came to our district, that came to our community, because she's a fighter, she's a facilitator, but wait, she's a friend to everyday people. Listen, Jasmine Crockett has made District 30 a national district. Everybody in the nation knows Jasmine Crockett. She's the baddest sister out there. I'm talking about Jasmine Crockett, and yet as amazing as she is, as phenomenal as she is, she's remained a friend to everyday people. She's someone you can talk to and touch. She listens to you. I'm talking about Jasmine Crockett. So since Jasmine is a fighter, since she's a facilitator and a friend to everyday people, I guess I'll close by saying the future is bright with Jasmine Crockett. The future is bright. Our best days are in front of us, as dark as it is right now. With Jasmine, the light is about to break out and shine. And so, y'all, I've got confidence in Crockett. I know there is justice with Jasmine. I hope y'all get what I'm doing right right now, because Jasmine Crockett, that master alliterator, is someone that we need for such a time as this. Y'all know I'm a preacher, so I got to at least use that on you, because Esther was called to the kingdom at a dark time. Esther was called to the kingdom when it looked like a people were going to get erased, and yet Esther stood up, and because she stood up, a future was facilitated. And so y'all, here is our Esther, and I'm simply saying, in the name of Ann Richards, in the name of Barbara Jordan, in the name of Eddie Bernice Johnson, would you receive from me right now the next senator from the state of Texas? I'm talking about Jasmine Crockett.
Thank you so much, Pastor Haynes. If I can have everybody direct their eyes to the screen, please. Thank you.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her?
She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
Crockett. Oh, man, oh, man.
She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
All's my life I has to fight. All's my life I hard to.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that we have all been waiting for. The next U.S. Senator from the great state of Texas. Please welcome to the stage, Miss Jasmine Crockett!
We all right. We gon' be all right. Huh? We gon' be all right. We gon' be all right.
Y'all look good. Y'all look real good. But are you fired up? Are you ready to go? All right, Texas, let's get down to it. I know y'all are ready to hear some good news, and some of y'all already heard it before you even got here. Yes, it is true. I am running to become your next United States Senator from the state of Texas. I honestly can't put into words what it means to me. You see, a lot of people think that making decisions like this, you take them lightly. I'm here to tell you that I understand that there's a responsibility. I'm not reading from my script, so they're about to be confused. There's a responsibility that lies with all of us, especially in this moment. There are a lot of people that said, you got to stay in the house. We need our voice. We need you there. And I understand. But what we need is for me to have a bigger voice. What we need is not only a voice, but we need to make sure that we are going to stop all the hell that is raining down on all of our people. So over the last couple of months, I've been thinking about our future. Where do we go from here? And obviously, I've been thinking about Texas. I thought about my classmates from law school. One is standing right up front, Mr. Anthony Farmer. I thought about the big dreams we all had, fighting for justice in the courtroom, starting our own businesses, buying a home, starting families. If you think about it, our dreams were the American dream. Opportunities for those who work hard, home ownership, jobs, entrepreneurship, and security. And that time, we were headed into the Great Recession. I took a job in East Texas for a pretty well-known family-owned law firm. I began doing class action defense work. And honestly, I wondered if I'd made a mistake. I wondered if that was really what I was supposed to be doing. It just so happened that they had just started a new public defender's office in rural East Texas. And so I decided that I would join that public defender's office. I joined it because I believed everybody deserved a voice in the courtroom. Even if they couldn't afford an attorney, one would be provided to them, and that attorney was me. I loved being a courtroom warrior. I got some judges here. They probably can't identify themselves, but nevertheless, I loved being in the courtroom. You know, I never thought that I would run for office, but some people are able to inspire others as they walk their own path. As a 27-year-old public defender walking in her path, there was someone who came along and inspired me. There was this charismatic, funny, intelligent, and exciting young candidate with a funny name who just got into the U.S. Senate and was running for president. Many doubted if this country was ready, while others, well, we got to work and kept hope alive. We didn't focus on the naysayers. We didn't get distracted by any pollsters. We remained laser focused on getting the person who was best for the job into the seat. We didn't let history diminish our hope in what was possible. We ignored that the devil on our shoulder that sometimes tries to tell us your vote doesn't matter. The country's not ready. He can't win. And responded with that timeless American creed. Yes, we can. Yes, I'm talking about President Barack Obama. How many no's do you think he heard before he got a yes? No, you can't win. No, the country's not ready for a black president. No, a black man can't get elected. No, your middle name is Hussein. No, you can't beat the Clinton machine. But every time they told him no, he looked them right in the eyes and he told them yes. He said, yes, we can. Yes, we can deliver on health care. Yes, we can enshrine equal rights. Yes, we can bring jobs back to America, create opportunities for all. And yes, we can save the economy after a Republican president sends it into the gutter. People ran lies, rumors, and tried to poke holes in everything about Obama, from his faith to his heritage. Falsehoods about his daddy, mistruths about his mama. There was even a question about his birth certificate. But he didn't let any of that get in his way. He worked and worked and worked to inspire and instill a sense of hope. And man, do I remember. I remember hoping. Now, I don't know if I really believed. But I knew that we had to try. I knew that we had the power. He turned those no, you can'ts into yes, we cans. Yes, we deserve better. Yes, we will dig deep. Yes, we can. Back then, as the housing bubble burst and the economy crashed, I saw everyone around me struggling. I saw a system that ignored them and legal system that failed them. Then I remembered Obama's words. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. So many of you don't know, but I was 28 by now. And I decided that I was going to run to become the Bowie County Democratic Party chair. I was elected as the youngest black Democratic Party chair in the history of Texas. Later, I moved to Dallas, and frustrated by the broken laws on our books, I ran for the Texas House of Representatives to be that agent of change. I took on the establishment, ran against an incumbent, and there were folks in my ear, that devil on my shoulder, that said I could not win. I was being outspent 5-1. And even those that said I had to be less of myself, I tuned that noise out. And even though I was outspent, I was never outworked. When I look across this room, I see folks who knocked on doors for me back then in 2020. I see people who believed in me before any viral moments. I see people who believed that I could and would be different. I see the people that locked arms with me. Some of those elected officials that went out on a limb and endorsed me when nobody else would. You see, I didn't get anywhere on my own. Every step of the way has been with you. The people who have fueled this fire. You've chipped in your hard-earned money. Hey, donors, because I see some of y'all too. You put in the sweat equity under the hot Texas sun, knocking on doors, putting out signs. You've driven your neighbors to the polls, dragged your coworkers to go vote. You're the ones who walk your precincts, register thousands of voters, and you're the ones who flip seats across the state at every level. When Texas turns blue, it won't be because of any one candidate, but because of each and every one of you doing your part. Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways. Let me be clear, y'all ain't never tried it the JC way. We used to telling us what I can't do, but they have no idea what Crockett's crew will do. And so I just want to be clear for all the haters in the back. Listen up real loud. We gonna get this thing done. So they tell us that Texas is red. They are lying. We're not. The reality is that most Texans don't get out to vote. The reality is that the people that I used to work with in the Texas House did everything that they could to make sure that they could suppress voices. If we were so red, they wouldn't be so pressed. Let me be clear. The reason that the governor always got time to call out my name is because he understands that I know how to speak to everybody, not just some folk. There are folks who feel like their vote doesn't matter and that nothing will change or that candidates don't speak to them. And honestly, I can't blame them. But I'm here to address those Texans specifically who feel as their vote doesn't matter. Let me tell you it does. Earlier, I talked about my first race for state representative, and I talked about the fact that I was outspent 5-1. They had the money, but I had the people. When the first batch of votes came out, I was down by 700 votes. I told my team it was over. Carmen, who's right up front, rushes down and says, no, we about to go to elections. I said, y'all, it's over. We've been voting for 3 weeks and we down by 700. We ain't coming back. Around 10 o'clock, somehow somebody said, Rep, you only down, well, I wasn't Rep then. You only down by 50 votes. I said, oh, we getting good. We getting good. I said, now y'all tell me what's still out. Is anything out? Are we done? Cause it was getting late. And they said, MLK is still out. I said, oh. I said, if anybody came through for me, it was going to be MLK. And when I tell y'all, when the votes were counted, I had won by 90 votes. Out of 10,000 votes that were cast, I won by 90. It was the closest state house race in the entire state of Texas that year. So you know where those votes came from? They came from the mom who organized the entire neighborhood to go vote because she knew I would fight like hell for her daughter. It came from the retired firefighter who talked to each and every one of his or her neighbors in the senior homes and the people that they lived around. It came from everywhere. It came from the churches. It came from home health care workers who ran across the street to vote at the library during their lunch break. It came from citizens who hadn't voted in years, but went to cast their ballots because they believed that I would bring a new generation of servant leadership to the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Each and every one of those votes made up the 90 votes we needed to bring change. And I'm going to add this. It even came from unhoused folk. See, what y'all don't understand is that people like to devalue certain people. But the only place that equalizes us is at the ballot box. So I don't ever want anybody, no matter what your socioeconomic background is, to believe that you don't matter or you don't count, because the time that you count is when you are at the ballot box. A single grain of rice can tip the scales. Every single vote counts, and that couldn't be truer in the United States Senate. It was a single vote in the United States Senate that saved the Affordable Care Act, that saved millions of Americans' health care coverage. That vote was cast by John McCain, who showed bravery and honored his oath of service. Yeah, clap it up. He bucked his party's president to do what was right for his constituents. Sadly enough, we all know that Senator John Cornyn does not have the guts to stand up to Trump. But I can tell y'all who does. I do. Cornyn carries on with business as usual while small businesses across Texas take the hit from Trump's tariffs. Well, I'm done with politics as usual. I'm done with going along to get along, and it gets us nowhere. I'm done watching rural hospitals and public schools close their doors. I'm done watching parents be afraid to send their kids to school or the mall or the movies because Republicans have flooded our streets with guns. I'm done with the senators sitting around doing nothing while Trump takes your hard-earned money, skims your Social Security, slashes Medicare, and gives tax breaks to billionaires. I'm done. I'm done watching the American dream on life support while Trump tries to pull the plug. The gloves have been off, and now I'm jumping into the ring. I'm asking for your support to be the next United States Senator from the greatest state of Texas. I'm running because I don't ever lose focus of the people and what we deserve. We deserve a government that is by the people and of the people, not one that's bought and paid for, not politicians who are self-serving and line their own pockets. Most of you know that I am a civil rights and criminal defense attorney, that I made a living arguing cases before juries and fighting for Texas who were harmed to receive justice. I have won cases and convinced juries in the deepest, reddest parts of this state. And I'm ready to make the case to the people of the great state of Texas. My experience spans both state and federal. As you may have seen, I have spent more time on the federal level than I did on the state level. And frankly, I'm very well aware of what is happening on the federal level, on the deepest levels of the federal level. If elected to the Senate, actually when, I was about to say, y'all slow. I will begin on day one fighting to lower costs, deliver on health care, make home ownership and entrepreneurship accessible to all, and hold Trump accountable. I'll hit the ground running, because I'm already in the belly of the beast right now. Many people wonder why I jumped in this race so late, and I just want to be clear that this was never my intention. This was never about me. I never put myself into any of the polls. Listen, my question was, which congressional seat would I be running for? And for Texas 30, I love you. I love you, Texas 30. Okay, I'm gonna finish. But the more I saw the poll results, I couldn't ignore the trends, which were clear, both as it relates to the primary as well as the general election. I could have played it safe and continued serving in the United States House of Representatives for as long as my constituents would have me. But I don't choose to do that. Because Texas, this moment we're in now, is life or death. It's all or nothing. It's now or never. We find ourselves at a crossroads. We're faced with a hard choice to make people believe. We've got to make sure that they understand that we are not to go back. We are not to allow our hard-earned progress of our foremothers to be wiped away. We lose Social Security, Medicare. We lose the right to vote, to love, and live freely. That's one path where we go back in time. The other path is learning to live in Trump's America and shrinking ourselves into the shadows. It looks like people who are afraid to worship or love freely because people are simply, right now, afraid to walk down the streets. It looks like a country facing denial, bank loan denied, healthcare denied, American dream denied. But I'm here to tell you there is a third path, a path where we move forward as one people united under a common vision, a path where we reject Trump's false promises and reject his lies and division. I'm asking you to walk down this path with me, shoulder to shoulder, and envision a Texas where every child, no matter their story, can go to the best public schools, can afford to go to college or learn a skilled trade, a Texas where that child has every opportunity to grow and thrive. That means nutrition, healthcare, mental health, and safety. Imagine a Texas where that child grows up and can buy a home with first-time home buyers assistance. Imagine that child wants to start a business and create jobs in their community they live in Texas, where they can actually access some capital to get started. Now contrast that to our reality today, where a child's opportunities are limited by their zip codes. I think about the children in Houston who had their school district taken over by Abbott. I think about the children in Lufkin who went hungry this summer after Republicans cut funding for summer EBT. I think about the young adults and families in Amarillo that would love to buy their own home but can't afford it. I think about the farmer in Loving County who had to find his way to the nearest hospital miles and miles away because Texas has closed more rural hospitals than any other state. And by the way, if you know farmers, it takes quite a lot before they'll even think about going to the doctor. So I know this. This man was in pain, and his pain was ignored and neglected by 3 decades of Republican domination in Texas. And I'm going to keep taking down this path with me. But let's first address the elephant in the room, quite literally. I know many of you are wondering why I'm running for a seat that everyone says cannot be won. The last time Texas elected a Democrat to the United States Senate, I was 7 years old. Do not try to do the math. Cornyn was already 36 and serving as a district judge. For most of us, a Republican-controlled Texas is all we've known. But we cannot let that diminish our faith and belief in what can be. I stand before you because I'm not looking backwards in the past. My eyes are fully ahead and fixed on the bright horizon ahead of us. I'm running for this seat because I'm going to be hung up on the brokenness. I'm not going to be hung up on the brokenness of the past. I'm focused on fixing up our future. Many people have asked, and all of us wonder, can we win this race in November? I'm here to say, yes, we can. I'm also here to say it's not if we can, but if we will. If we will get out and knock the doors, call the people, and meet them where they are. It's a matter of if we will do the work to have the necessary conversations about the future of our nation. Will we come together as one? This isn't about me or them. It's about you and us. This is not about ambition. It's not about my ambition. It's about yours. Your hopes and your dreams, and a government that has your back, not pushes you back. No Democrat has done what we're seeking to do, and that is win a statewide election in Texas in the 21st century. So there is no roadmap. There is no blueprint, and there is no cheat code. So for everybody that thinks they got it, just watch and I'll give it to you. This path we're going on together is one that must be forged ourselves. So let's be honest. If there was anyone with the recipe, well, they would have already won. But I also know this. If Mississippi can flip seats, then why can't Texas? If Georgia can elect 2 Democrats to the United States Senate, then Texas can too. In 2012, Mitt Romney won Texas by 16 points. In 2016, Trump won Texas by 9 points. As his administration went on and people felt the hurt, his margin in 2020 shrunk. In 2020, as people were fed up with his administration, as people sat around the dinner table, 500,000 American families stared at the empty chairs. The chairs once filled by loved ones who died from COVID. I remember the long lines we waited in for rapid testing, the line folks needing unemployment, the long lines at the food banks. Well, guess what, y'all? Under Trump 2.0, people are still unemployed or forced to work multiple jobs. And after all the cuts to SNAP, the rising cost of everything except wages, food banks are stepping up once again to fill the gap. But I remember another place where the lines were so long and in many places wrapped around the building, and that was at the polls. We turned our pain into purpose. We kept the faith and we did the work. We put fear in the hearts as the margins tightened and we were closing the gap. What did they do in response? Did they take a look in the mirror? Try to offer real solutions to the real issues? No. Instead, they decided to come up with ways to keep you from being heard, to make it harder to vote and easier to cheat. Well, I'm here to tell you, don't cheat yourselves. Don't fall for the okie doke. I'm asking you not to worry about the naysayers, the critics, and the haters, because they already hear y'all. It's not about them or what they believe. It's about you and us, what we know is possible when people come together. So I'm asking you to tune out those intrusive voices that say she can't win because she's black, because she's a woman, or because she's a Democrat. If you believe women should be in all spaces, then I ask you to stand with me. If you believe we should be judged by the content of our character, then I'm asking for your support. And if you believe this election should be about the issues, who has the better policies and ideas, and who is best for the job, then I ask for your vote in the Democratic primary election this March and again in November. You see, we know what the Republican tactics will be. A flood of lies and attacks designed to turn blacks against whites, city against country, and you against me. They are experts in the politics of division. It's how they've gotten here. Division is how Trump got elected and then re-elected. This election is about adding voices to our electorate, about multiplying turnout with a robust operation and a unifying message that asks, how is it that Texas is prospering, but the people are struggling? We have the 8th largest economy in the world, yet kids go hungry. Seniors have to skip their prescriptions. Parents are forced to choose between braces for their children or hospice for their parents. We are the #1 state in exports, driving the American economy, yet somehow we are also #1 in uninsured women and children. The state is thriving while the people are facing tribulation. We are better than that, tougher than that, and Texas deserves better, and together we will. This campaign is for those who believe that the government should work harder than the people it serves. This campaign is for every single person that is done with politics as usual, that's fed up with the establishment, that's sick and tired of being sick and tired. Texas has no shortage of talent, no shortage of ideas, grit, or tenacity. Our state powers this nation. Our economy drives the world. Texas is a big boy state made up of brawlers and people with a moral code. Our representation should reflect that, and sadly enough, it doesn't. After evaluating the data, analyzing the trends, researching historic numbers, and combing over the crosstabs, it was clear the numbers were strongest for my candidacy for United States Senate. That's why I decided to enter this race, because otherwise I would have continued doing what I've always done, which is support whichever candidate had the strongest numbers. So I want to be clear. I'm not running just to run. This is about winning. As a candidate who is constantly attacked and seen as a threat, it's because I am. I'm a threat to the system that's been holding us back from our full potential. I'm a threat to a system that works to protect politics as usual, that seeks to maintain the despair and unfairness in our state. I'm a threat to those that have lost their moral compass, abandoned their purpose, and want to be kings instead of public servants. I'm the only candidate in this race who has served on the federal level, has taken on this administration, and sought accountability. I'm the only one who has gone toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, and there's a reason he's always got my name in his mouth. There's a reason John Cornyn has been attacking me since before I even entered this race. There's a reason folks have tried everything they could think of to try to keep me out of this race. And I believe that's because Trump has seen the same numbers I have. I have a track record of getting people out to vote, moving people who were disillusioned with politics and felt like their vote didn't matter. Since running for public service, I have vowed to increase accountability, accessibility to every office I've held. Through it all, I've never lost sight of the people. I've built winning coalitions and brought together voters of all backgrounds, all stars and stripes, in every walk of life under the common belief that government should be of and for the people. Government should work to make living easy for those who work hard for a living. My message, rooted in slashing costs, making home ownership and entrepreneurship attainable for all, strengthening and growing the middle class, is one that Texas, all of Texas, from the Panhandle to Port Arthur and from El Paso to East Texas, can believe in. This campaign is about winning with a strong, multiracial, multi-generational coalition of people that is reflective of this great state that is, by the way, 61% people of color. There is room in this campaign for everyone who feels like our state is heading in the wrong direction. And that's the majority of Texans, whether you live in Dallas County or Dickens County. Groceries are too expensive. The light bill won't stop going up. People are being crushed by their rent or their mortgages. That's why I'm running now, to get Texas back on track, to be a fighter for the middle class. Hardworking Texans, ranchers, farmers, young families, oil workers, small businesses, and everyday people who make this state vibrant and make us an economic powerhouse. Today, under Trump and 3 decades of Republican rule in Texas, those very Texans are under daily attack. They are attacked for how they worship, who they love, what language their grandmother speaks. And you don't know who will be next on the chopping block. I'm running to protect Texans from these attacks and safeguard the rights our Constitution guarantees. I'm running to knock down the door to opportunities that have only been cracked open for the elite few. I'm running to make home ownership and entrepreneurship pillars of the American dream and obtainable reality for all Americans once more. I'm running to get Washington back to work on issues that actually matter. Together, we will send a signal to the entire nation. Don't mess with Texas. And certainly don't count us out. I believe I am the candidate in the strongest position to defeat whoever emerges after they finally get out of their stuff. Even if that's my buddy and dancing partner, John Cornyn. John Cornyn has spent 41 years in elected office. Anyway, I'm not even gonna get off track. He's been an elected official since I was 3 years old. Speaking of 3, I want y'all to know that Cornyn has been in office so long that he collects 3 fat pensions, courtesy of you, the taxpayer, on top of his Senate salary, which is also paid for by you. By the time I graduated law school in 2006, Cornyn was already drawing his first pension. Guess Doge didn't catch that one, huh? But anyway, so after 4 decades and 4 fat checks every month, Cornyn has forgotten who sent him to the Senate. He's forgotten he works for 30 million people in Texas, not one Florida man who's never called this state home. About 2 pensions ago, Cornyn used to actually try and help Texas. He used to speak out against Trump, the candidate, and denounce the border wall. What happened, Big John? Because now all you're doing is bending the knee, kissing the ring, and running ads about how you vote 99% of the time with Trump. Well, John, I kept telling you, you had a 1% problem. And the problem is putting the 1% of Americans who are billionaires before the 99% of us who have to wake up every day, clock in, and hustle to make ends meet. The 99% of us who had to go out and earn what is ours. It wasn't handed to us by daddy. At a time such as this, we cannot afford to have a senator who cowers away from a fight worth fighting. I will be tougher on behalf of all 30 million Texans. At the end of the day, the Republicans, they know they're in hot water. They shut the government down for more than 40 days and 40 nights while people scramble to make ends meet and keep America open. His economic policies and his tariffs have drained our bank accounts, forcing millions to live paycheck to paycheck. While SNAP funding hung in the balance and families had to figure out how they'd even put bread and water on the table, mothers fed their children bread with butter and a sprinkle of sugar to quiet those growling tummies. And while this was the reality for middle America, Trump and his cronies were busy planning a lavish Thanksgiving feast. Now, Christmas is around the corner, and after a whole year of office with Trump, what has he done? Absolutely nothing to fulfill his #1 campaign promise, which was to bring down costs. Well, prices have tripled since Trump became president, and we're all feeling it. When I first got to Congress, I served on the Agriculture Committee. I worked on the Farm Bill and SNAP. And let me tell you, between delaying the Farm Bill, offering no real solutions on immigration, slashing SNAP, and slapping on tariffs, nobody has been hit harder than our farmers, ranchers, and the millions who grow our food. At a time when farmers are filing record bankruptcies, when grocery stores are going up even more to cover the cost of all of their economic loss activity because of the SNAP cuts, and as more rural hospitals close in Texas than anywhere else, how can our senator go along with this? How can he vote for 99% of this and then ask for yet another term with a straight face? John, you listening? You're the only one in Texas who gets 4 checks to do 1 job. Meanwhile, there are households where both parents work 2 jobs. The oldest child has to get a job as soon as they legally can, and still the family is barely keeping their head above water. That is the reality for far too many people. But John Cornyn and his MAGA buddies, or shall I say frenemies, since we never know how he really feels about MAGA, they're so far out of touch with reality. They live in their own worlds. The cost of everything has gone up except for wages. People are working more and they're working harder. But that check is looking just the same, and that dollar doesn't stretch as far. They'll tell you that my agenda is out of left field, when in reality, it's just right for Texas. My agenda is affordability, it's healthcare, it's energy independence, it's American manufacturing, it's protecting our natural resources, it's providing the best education to every child and not saddling them with lifelong debt in the process. When prices are lower, that dollar goes further. Consumers have more confidence in spending power, businesses thrive, and our economy is healthy. The more people that are insured, the less healthcare will cost for all of us. If we spend on preventative care, we can save way more instead of waiting until somebody is sick. When we invest in clean energy, your utility bill goes down. When we build more housing, the rents and mortgages come down. When we have more affordable childcare, Head Start, and universal pre-care, then families will have that huge burden lifted from them. Childcare has become a second rent. Y'all say amen if you got children, because y'all know I ain't got none. I heard they expensive. My whole platform is rooted in my belief that life should be more affordable for those who make America run. It's centered around opportunity and a fair shake to work hard, get ahead, and have a chance to earn your dream no matter your story. To live in a country where you know your rights will be protected at every level, to feel safe walking down the street. That's what I have always fought to do, and I won't let up now. The stakes and the prices are way too high. That is why Democrats are truly about This is what Democrats is truly about, and it's our opportunity now to remind the nation of what it looks like when we put our values into action. While Democrats were working overtime to protect health care and lower costs of insurance, prescriptions, and the care you need to be alive, Trump was too busy golfing, y'all. I don't even want to tell y'all how much money y'all spent on that. He was looking over carpet patterns and paint swatches. Y'all know, for his little room. Anyway, while Americans had to decide between paying the car note or paying the mortgage, Trump's toughest choice was between Chantilly lace or alabaster for his billionaire ballroom. The American people have been watching, and even those who weren't watching, they felt the effects and know the pain. Trump's unpopular policies will cost him the Republican majority in the Congress. He knows that, and that's why he called Greg Abbott and said, I need 5 seats from Texas. I'm entitled to them. And Abbott got right to it. Well, Trump, I know you're watching, so let me tell you directly, you're not entitled to a damn thing in Texas. You better get to work, because I'm coming for you. He knew he would lose, so Trump did what he always does, resort to lying, cheating, and stealing. He has rigged our elections once again by changing the lines in the middle of an election cycle. And the cherry on the top, Trump drew me out of my home district. I know he's tired of me holding him accountable, dismantling his lies, and I know he's tired of me breaking through to millions of Americans, tired of me getting people out to vote, tired of me living in his head rent-free. Well, Mr. President, you couldn't beat me at the ballot box. And so, as y'all know, a judge that you appointed, Mr. President, he said your maps were unconstitutional, but you ran it up to your loyal activist cronies at the Supreme Court and snatched representation away from almost 500,000 people I represented right here in CD30. Well, I'm here to tell you, Donald Trump, you won't get rid of me that easily. I'm not going away. I'm not giving up. I still believe in this country. I still believe that we are in the land of opportunity. I still believe in the bright beacon of hope amidst a sea of despair. I still believe Texas will lead the way and prove to this nation and the world what I know to be true. So I'm asking you, will you join me in this campaign? Will you join me in the work and turn this moment into a movement? I'm asking you to wake up every day between now and November, yes, every day, and ask yourself daily, what am I going to do today to elect the leadership I wish to see? Who I'm going to call today about why I need to vote? What will my contribution to turning Texas blue be? It's also why I've sought to bring about unity within our party as well. I did my best to make sure that we had a strong ticket with candidates running up and down the ballot. We're not leaving any races out. Everything is on the line. I need you to know that this is bigger than any one person and any one candidate. For us to win this race, we have to win together. We have to run as a team. Like I said before, and we'll keep echoing, this isn't about me. This isn't about them. It's about you. We're going to go and win this election for the people. As I close, I want to send a message to Donald Trump and the whole nation. Don't take Texas for granted and don't count us out. It's our time. We are one. God bless Texas and let freedom reign.
All right, everybody, let's give it up one more time for the next U.S. Senator from the state of Texas. All right. If everybody can remain in their place temporarily, DJ. All right. So, my elected officials in the middle, if you can exit the same way you came in, my young lady on my right and your left will guide you. Everybody after that, can you please go to where the entrance door is and you'll line up there. And it isn't mandatory, but Jasmine wants to take a picture with you guys, so if we can do it in an orderly fashion, that would be great. Thank you so much.
All right, folks, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett just announced she's running for the United States Senate in Texas. Colin Allred, former Congressman Colin Allred, who ran for the U.S. Senate against Ted Cruz, was in the race. He dropped out today. He filed to run for Congress in District 33, so they ran in that particular race there, and so that's what's going on there. Let's bring in my panel, Randy Bryant, DEI disruptor, joining from D.C., Ome Congo Dominguez, Senior Professor of Electoral School of International Service, American University, State Representative Jolanda Jones of Texas. Jolanda, I can start with you first. Congresswoman Crockett, this is big news, obviously. A lot of people are like, oh, my gosh, she's guaranteed to lose. But she talked about it. Texas is 61% minority, but 61% of the folks who vote in Texas are white. The issue here is Trump's numbers among Latinos has dropped in a massive way. The numbers have dropped in a huge, huge way. And so now what you're seeing is this whole thing now coming out. When you look at the numbers, she's saying, hey, Republicans are nervous, saying that if Ken Paxton beats Cornyn in the primary, they say, hey, Paxton is going to be in trouble. And so she's like, hey, she studied the numbers, and that's what they're saying. Hey, if Paxton is an issue, if he wins, then that could be problematic for Republicans by having someone with her name ID and the ability to raise money running for U.S. Senate.
Well, I think she said everything she was supposed to say. And I think that if anybody can motivate people to get out and vote who don't have faith in the system, I think it's probably her. And so, I mean, I'm excited to hear it. So I didn't know what she was going to say, but I think she hit all the nails on the head that she needed to hit. And as a person who lives in Texas, I'm sick of the people that we have as our senators. They never do anything for us. So I think that her running for Senate has caused a bunch of confusion in other places, but I think that'll all work itself out one way or the other. I mean, I've already heard all kind of conspiracy theories about what's going on in Dallas. And I also think it's interesting that Pastor Frederick Haynes, who I'm really good friends with, announced a run for Jasmine's seat. So I'm excited to see. Hopefully it'll help people down ballot everywhere in Texas. So I think if anybody can motivate black people to come out to vote, it's probably her. So I'm excited. I mean, Texas needs to go in a different direction. And I think that what Trump intended for bad, I think God maybe end up having it go for good, because I, again, think it's going to help everywhere, including all those racistly gerrymandered seats.
Absolutely. And, listen, a lot of people out here on Mekongo saying, well, she can't win. But the bottom line is, I remember they said, she referred to it, look in Georgia. You can't look at what's happening in Georgia, and you can't win there. Somebody has to run. And you have to, listen, Texas has 254 counties. Democrats only have offices in 81. It's an unorganized state. Texas has the most eligible black voters of any state in the country. Significant Latino votes, many of them who are eligible but not registered to vote. And so Crockett's whole deal is, if she can appeal to younger voters, reach black voters in East Texas, get anywhere from 30% of the white vote, have a big black and Latino turnout, she says she thinks she has a shot.
Yeah, she absolutely has a shot, and it's going to be interesting to see how people play her against Tallarico and their differences. And I think people can talk a lot about the Hispanic vote and where that's going to go, because people are so angry with Trump. But I actually think, Roland, that the biggest demographic that's going to be of interest in Texas is going to be the female vote, because we don't talk about it on a national level in terms of a lot of the mainstream media networks, but some of these stories that are going on of what's happening with women and the abortion ban, so many of these stories we read in like ProPublica and all of these places, they're happening in Texas. And the stories that in terms of women just basically being shackled on some levels, also the challenges with it being illegal just to give consultation about abortions and all of those types of things, I think that's also going to rile up a lot of women. And that's not something that's new for Jasmine Crockett. She talked often about being on the campaign trail for Biden and Kamala and talking to women and hearing their stories. This is something that she's really passionate about. It is always something that she's been strong about, and I feel like that's going to be a strong case as well. And she's the only woman who was in the Senate race in Texas. And so I believe that Texas had the lowest voter turnout of the second lowest voter turnout of the presidential election. I think with people like her and Tallarico being in the race, that's going to change exponentially. But quite honestly, Roland, I was hearing her talk so much and I was just thinking like, Crockett 28, and I'm like, okay, right, it's not the presidential. But my point is that she sounds so presidential and she sounds so ready. And that comes from somebody who's been battle tested from all of the experiences that she had. And I think that she would be a great representative for Texas. I hope they see the same way.
Randy.
She can win. Revolutionary things happen in times like this, times of great strife. And I believe that she does have an incredible chance of winning. She will get people to the polls. People want someone who will fight for them. And if Congresswoman Crockett has done nothing else the last several months, is that she has been the voice of the people. She has shown us that she is not scared in the face of the bullies that are running the administration right now. And people crave that. She provides hope to us, and we need that. So I believe her chances are actually better than some may think. And I think even Trump has worked to her favor. If he weren't scared, he would not mention her as much as he does. He recognizes her power. And so we need to recognize our power and not at all back up because of what the naysayers may say. I am behind her 100%, and I look forward to celebrating her victory.
All right, folks, going to go to a break. We come back. We're going to talk to a couple lawyers out of Los Angeles, a big case that deals with that you really want to pay attention to. That's next right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
If in this country right now you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, that's the time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion. And we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say, and they don't ultimately win.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Godfrey, the funniest dude on the planet. And you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, let's talk about a case out of Los Angeles you may not be aware of. It's ongoing, and it speaks to, and look, we're always covering these stories. We talk about social justice, what is happening in many of these cases. Well, this one here really caught our attention. So a black California veteran is going to get his day in court. Slade Douglas is seeking $30 million in damages from the Los Angeles Police Department and the city of Los Angeles for discrimination. Douglas' lawsuit details horrifying allegations of false arrest, torture, sexual assault, and forced hospitalization stemming from a 2019 incident. Slade Douglas is his attorney, Lauren McRae, join us right now. I'm glad to have you both here. So Slade, walk us through what happened. Slade? Slade, can you hear me? Lauren, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, not sure what's happening with Slade.
I think it might be frozen.
But Lauren, just go ahead and walk us through.
Okay, so during this incident, the officers allegedly received a call for service. They show up to Mr. Douglas's home. They ask him to speak with him. He allows them to enter into the foyer area of his home to speak. They tell them that they got a call from the Veterans Affairs that he may have been thinking about suicide. He immediately tells them that's not true. I have no idea why they called. This was actually a swatting by the VA. Mr. Douglas, as you mentioned, he's a respected veteran, and he was making a complaint with the VA when the representative was frustrated with him. She ended up calling 911 and making a false report that he was suicidal. So once the officers get there, he tells them that's not true. I didn't make that call, or I didn't make those reports. And immediately, one of the officers starts walking towards his bedroom. At that point, Slade rightfully invokes his Fourth Amendment right to tell the officers, you know what? Don't go into my bedroom. Don't walk around my home. If you do that, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Eventually, the officers still continue to try to search his home. So he invokes his Fourth Amendment right. He tells them you need to leave. He tells them to leave 7 times. They refuse to do so. Eventually, Mr. Douglas calls 911 for help because these officers are here violating his rights in his home. One of the officers clearly gets visibly triggered and screams at him to put down the damn phone, and immediately handcuffs him after that. A clear First Amendment retaliation. And that's one of the claims in the lawsuit. So after that, they handcuff him. They parade him through his apartment, put him in the backseat of a patrol car. He has a diagnosed spinal injury. So he requests a reasonable handcuffing accommodation under the ADA and asks for his handcuffs to be placed in the front. Instead of providing him with that reasonable accommodation, they laugh it off. And then they conspire with the LA Fire Department to get liability off of the city by transporting him to the hospital. And there at the hospital, he suffers a sexual assault by way of forced catheterization. He's forcibly drugged with sedatives while restrained. And he is also subjected to these forcible blood draws. So in our lawsuit, we have claims for Fourth Amendment violations, due process violations, as well as violations under the First Amendment and of the ADA.
So this has been, how long have y'all been dealing with the city on this?
Oh, wow. So it's a long time coming. We're finally supposed to start trial on December 15th. And, the lawsuit was filed in 2020. This incident happened August 27th of 2019. We were actually supposed to start trial last year in August. And due to reasons that I can't really get into too much detail about right now, we ended up continuing the trial and being able to conduct further discovery. We discovered information that the city was aware that one of these officers was unfit for duty. As I said, the specific circumstances aren't a matter of public record just quite yet. We are advocating and believe that the public should know about this information. So we were able to add in some new claims. We have now a claim for negligent employment, supervision, and retention. And we also have a claim, what's called a Monell claim, and that's a claim for municipal liability, a direct liability claim against the city, saying that they didn't have proper police training and policies in place, and that if they had, potentially this incident could have been prevented.
So you're going to court when?
December 15th.
December 15th. All right, then. Well, keep us abreast of what happens in this case. It certainly is pretty stark when you look at those details.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, Lauren, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Folks, got to go to a break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Don't forget to support the work that we do. Join the Bring the Funk fan club. If you want to contribute to our show, please do so. Stripe, use the QR code. You see it right here, bottom left-hand corner. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
They said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat. So they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it, they joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
It's your boy Earthquake, giving Roland Martin something to do, because he don't know what to do. He's from Texas. Ain't his fault.
When Trump called the affordability crisis a con job, the numbers tell a different story. For millions of families, the basics of everyday life are getting more expensive faster than their paychecks can grow. Economists estimate that only about 20% of tariff costs show up in consumer prices, which undercuts the idea that trade policy is the main driver of what people feel at the checkout line. Instead, the real squeeze is coming from what some analysts call the unaffordability five: housing, food, health care, child care, and energy, all of which have seen prices jump much faster than incomes since 2019. Housing alone is up roughly 34% over that period, driven by tight supply, high mortgage rates, and local zoning limits. Food costs spiked after the drought, avian flu, and years of thin margins for producers. Child care and health insurance are climbing amid staffing shortages and limited capacity, and energy bills are being pushed higher as demand from data centers and electrification collides with an aging power grid. Affordability has become America's defining economic anxiety, and it's rooted in deep structural problems at home and not just tariffs. The thing here on Congo that we have to contend with on this whole thing is this here. You cannot continue to have the wealthy expand their wealth, and then you squeeze middle class, lower class, and poor people. When you have these battles, when you look at AI whacking jobs, and again, rich getting richer. When you have folks who want to oppose a living wage, that's a real issue. And so the thing right here from a political standpoint, the individuals that are making and tackling the affordability issue are going to succeed politically. You look at Zoran Mamdani in New York City. On the national level, Republicans, look at some 20, 30 Republicans, according to Puck, are talking about retiring because they're afraid they're going to lose the House. And so when you look at the bills being addressed, that big, ugly bill passed did not address the affordability issues. Republicans standing behind Trump and this uncertainty of the tariffs is, again, hurting the economy. That's what folks have to recognize is going on here.
I mean, enter Jasmine Crockett. I mean, this is one of the reasons why she has such a strong chance of winning, because she has been a champion in all of these issues. And let's also be mindful of the fact that Kamala Harris had an affordability plan. Everyone's saying affordability now is the language of the day. But if Republicans are going to keep running away from this, shoot, here's hoping that more of them retire, because they are too scared to get in the way of this man and his agenda. And I saw just this weekend, one of his son's companies that he's affiliated with got a $620 million contract with the Pentagon. So this kleptocracy is real, and people are seeing that as well. I'm running into some, white people that I know who are saying that their white privilege isn't even working for them right now because the economy is so terrible. And so more people are rising up to actually see that this man is a fraud, while he's building a ballroom that's bigger than the entire White House itself, while he's pardoning all of his friends right now and drug dealers and the like. And the jig is up. And if people don't speak up now, I'm just glad that they're finally realizing it. But once again, Roland, it's all going to matter as it relates to that ballot. It's all going to matter as people show up. Because if people are saying, yeah, Trump doesn't care about me, he doesn't care about my life, and so on and so forth, but I can't vote for the Democrat, then this is all going to be for naught. This is a time where people need to continue to stand up. And we saw it in the elections that happened in November. That momentum needs to keep going, because Trump has clearly shown that he does not give a damn. He hasn't done a single thing to lift the pocketbooks, to lift any of those 5 issues that you brought up, to change those for people. In fact, it's his exact policies that's making it worse. And many of us in this society right now are having tougher times than we did under COVID. And this is a man-made phenomenon, and he's continuing to milk the country while more of us suffer. And I hope more people continue to speak up and vote for candidates, regardless of their backgrounds, who are challenging this issue.
But if you're running, Jolanda, you have to be speaking to the issues and talking very specifically about policy, and not just saying Trump, 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 and the Republicans. And so, as someone who's elected, how do you make that argument? Take us through, how do you speak to the voters to say why you should back me over my opponent?
So what you have to do is you have to connect the dots for them. I think that a lot of people don't understand the dots. So they don't understand. They want just like somebody to make a conclusory statement and they just believe it. So the question now is, when you go to the grocery store, why are eggs more expensive? When you go to the grocery store, why is milk more expensive? You have to explain, again, a lot of dots. You have to explain the tariffs. You have to explain that the farmers that grow the food aren't getting the taxes that they used to get from in the form of payments from the government. And so that's why eggs cost more. You have to explain that farms are crashing, so there's less supply. Therefore, the demand is high. You're going to have to pay more. That is what that we have to do. My question, especially in Texas, though, is Trump has been masterful in just saying that the Democrats did it, the Democrats did it, the Democrats did it. As Jasmine said when she was speaking, Republicans have controlled Texas for a long time. But in Texas, even though Republicans control the House, they control the Senate, and they control the governor's office, the people just believe that it's the Democrats' problem. So I think that we're going to have to go knock doors. I think we as elected officials are going to have more town halls and explain to them how government works. And I know I plan on doing that, to have town halls in my district to let people know, if you vote for me, this is going to help this. If you vote for me, I am going to vote when bills are filed that we get more Medicaid, that we get more Medicare. I am going to vote that we give you more subsidies, that we provide more money for affordable housing. People don't understand that, Roland, and that's exasperating for an elected official, because I'm at a conference right now and they were talking about, well, people, you have to be able to tell people this. Well, when I try to be on the radio and just explain things, radio costs. So it's easier said than done, but we're just going to have to go, and we're going to have to take it to the streets, and we're going to have to meet people where they are. We're going to have to go to their homes. We're going to have events in their districts. A lot of people are transportation challenged. They can't get to places. We're going to have to do more things where we can have teletown halls where people can actually watch these town halls on their devices, because it's just very, very, very difficult. And we need to explain to people how things actually work. People don't understand how much money is being sent overseas. People don't understand what's being cut here, which translates into why they don't have money. And as an elected official, especially a state representative, it's just hard to do that, but we're going to have to do it. So what I'm hoping is Jasmine's candidacy mobilizes people to go and actually knock doors, to explain to people how government actually works and why in Texas we are failing because we continue. And I'm a part of we, I live in Texas, but why Republicans are getting elected. And then the question for me is the way that they racially gerrymandered these districts, is that going to matter? My question is, are Republicans sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are they going to take a chance on people who are speaking to their issues? Because at least in Texas, what I've seen is that people respect their privilege more than they respect their issues. And as the doctor just said before this, he's got people with white privilege saying their privilege isn't getting them as much. The question is, are you going to pay attention to your issues, or are you only going to focus on race? Because
Randy,
what you're doing, we're going to stay in the same. We're going to stay in the same situation that we're in.
Randy, the points that Jelana makes up is something that I've talked about. That we have to be operating in an age what I call educate, enlighten, and inform. And one of the things that Gary Chambers is doing in Baton Rouge, they're having these civics courses. I've talked about this publicly. What really has to happen is we really do have to walk people through. When Jelana says, hey, it's hard to explain this stuff on radio, first of all, when you look at, how many conservatives dominate talk radio, don't have many people who are progressive. But a lot of people just don't know. I talk all the time. People have no idea about City Hall compared to school district, compared to county government, compared to state government, compared to federal government, not understanding the role that politicians play when it comes to public policy, when it comes to how limited they are compared to what corporations can do, and all of that. So I've just long believed that there has to be a massive amount of education. taking place in this country. And there should be civic classes, lessons, stuff happening every single week so people know and understand. And you can't just do it, you know, a month before the primaries in March in Texas or 2 months out. You know, this is what has to be happening for a whole year to position people for the next election.
Right. The Republicans and the Trumplicans have really benefited greatly on what is the dumbing down of America, where a lot of us don't know what's happening and how our government runs and why certain issues are important and why we can't afford to buy eggs at the grocery store. How did we get here? And so it would benefit us as a whole if people became more educated about what's happening. We need more use. We need more roll-ins and people always just giving information, not just right before an election, but now. I do believe also that that the average everyday person wants to learn. I believe that's why we're seeing an uptick in people of all ages, socioeconomic levels, races, and religions really pouring into independent media, looking on social media because they want to learn. And so the onus is on all of us to teach as many people as we can. If it's just, you know, meeting at libraries or making videos, because they have to be educated so they can have a vote that helps us all in the end. You know, Trump and them have made it off of just slogans and anger. They just really tell you who to hate. They don't tell you why we got in that situation. And they certainly don't give us how we're going to get out of the situation. Whereas we have an opportunity right now to teach people how we got where we are and how we get out of where we are, how this whole system works. And I think that education will absolutely work to our benefit. So all of us need to become involved. All of us that feel as if we have an understanding of the government and how it works, it means we start having conversations, whether it be at the dinner table or in churches or over dinner with friends. These conversations that we used to have, I believe, back in the day about relevant matters need to start back up again. So everyone feels informed and as if they're a part of this situation.
And look, I think organizations have to do that as well, Jolanda. I mean, again, when you have organized entities, organizations have to be educating its members, but then saying, okay, now I need y'all to go do the exact same thing. The onus just simply can't be on a politician or a party.
I agree with you.
Hold on one second. The onus can't be on a politician or a party because, see, then that becomes politics. I tell people, I've never self-identified as a Democrat or Republican. So when I'm talking about issues, I'm talking about what matters to me, what matters to black people. That's not party, that's issues. And so a lot of people, the moment you introduce politics, oh my God, I don't want to hear it. But we have to explain to them that the issues you care about, politics plays a significant role, and we have to show people how those two things work.
But we've got, so first of all, let me say this, let me brag on myself just a little bit. I actually passed a local civics and school bill in Texas, Roland, to actually teach what each governmental body does, right? School board, MUDs, TERSs, you understand that. Now, Republicans control here, so we'll see what they put in the textbook. But I also say, Roland, that you've got to break through the inertia of people struggling, right? You working overtime, you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay daycare, you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay your rent, your car note. Are you going to be paying attention to what's going on? Which is why I think, because so many people receive their information in their hands, we're going to have to do more of these town halls with different social media and YouTube or what have you, so that people can watch. And we need to just do that because it's just very, very difficult. A lot of people think that, I mean, there are people who are apathetic, right? Like, I'm sick of politics. I don't believe it works for me. What has it done for me? I'm not going to vote. But some people are just struggling. And we're going to have to get to them, and we're going to have to speak to their issues just like we've all said, because people need to know that there is a solution if you pay attention. And that's what, again, like, for example, I have a town hall talking about what bills do you want me to file? Like, what's important to you? You got to show up, tell me what bills you want, and you got to talk me through it, let me know your problems, and then figure out which bills I'm going to adopt to file, try to ferret through the system. And we need to have more town halls like that invite the people that are struggling to share their ideas, because believe me, we as elected officials don't have all the answers. A lot of times if we just listen to our constituents, we can figure out how to solve a problem, because they actually can tell us things that we need to know in order to solve the problem.
Absolutely. And look, this is something that we have to recognize. And I'm telling you, people that recognize everything that happens in our society, politics is a role in it. Every single thing. Housing, there's a political component to housing. Food prices, we see with tariffs, a political component. We can go on and on and on. So we can't have people who are checking out of a political process. We need people checking in. We go to a quick break. We come back. We'll talk about a Supreme Court argument that could give Donald Trump more power. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
This week on The Other Side of Change.
Book bans, anti-intellectualism, and Trump's continued war on wisdom.
This is a coordinated backlash to progress. At the end of the day, conservatives realized that they couldn't win a debate on facts. They started doing all that kind of stuff. Now everything is anti-woke, right? When we were talking about including diversity, equity, inclusion, higher education, now it's anti-DEI. All this are efforts to suppress the truth because truth empowers people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Are you ready for the holidays? This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking about all things anxiety and the holidays, whether it's performance anxiety, presence versus presence, making certain that everybody in your space understands the boundaries and how to respect your home. This week, we're talking about those things that will allow you to have a peaceful holiday season.
It really is not about perfection. It's really about, the house feeling warm and cozy and peaceful.
You don't have to like everybody, but what you can do is be cordial in those environments.
That's all this week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie here on Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr. Our legal roundtable is back in session as we look at yet another potential landmark case being considered by the United States Supreme Court. This one is called 303 Creative versus Alennis, and may be the most important and far-reaching First Amendment, that is freedom of speech, case of our time. It could, depending on how the court rules, open the door for a return of Jim Crow segregation laws. It's true.
If you say we can discriminate against one, you're saying we can discriminate against all.
That's on the next Black Table. Don't miss it. Right here on the Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Bishop T.D. Jakes, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, time for news headlines with Black Star Network anchor Brittany Noble.
Roland, the Colorado jury has awarded $11.5 million to a former employee of Shrimp, the world's largest HR membership organization, after finding the company retaliated against her and allowed racial discrimination to go unchecked. Rehab Mohammed proved that her supervisor systemically discriminated against non-white employees, but instead of addressing her complaints, they sent her to coaching sessions, accused her of hurting morale, and launched an internal investigation that dismissed her claims. She was fired the very next day after missing a deadline. This verdict is being called one of the most significant employment discrimination awards ever issued against a major HR organization, raising serious questions about how an institution that trains the nation's HR leaders handles discrimination. Well, the U.S. Education Department is directing more than 250 employees who've been sitting on administrative leave for months to temporarily return back to work. In the return to duty notice, officials admit the agency is facing a large backlog of civil rights complaints, and they say they need every available resource to work through the caseload. The memo says the department must utilize all employees currently being compensated by American taxpayers. But despite the temporary recall, the agency says it has no plans to permanently reinstate those workers. Well, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, convicted of second-degree unintentional murder in the killing of George Floyd, is now asking for a new trial. He argues that 4 physicians who later concluded Floyd died of asphyxia relied on video of the incident rather than the original autopsy findings. The appeal also claims that 34 current and former Minneapolis police officers submitted sworn statements saying the knee to neck restraint was part of their training and aligned with department policy at that time. Chauvin is currently serving a federal sentence and is not scheduled for release until November of 2037. Well, and as Catahoula Crunch sweeps intensify, a separate viral video from Lake Charles, Louisiana is sparking outrage over police force. Early on December 1st, officers responding to a noise complaint wheeled up to a group of friends, including Tyler Leday, then yanked the wheelchair-bound man from his chair and cuffed him on the ground. Now, Leday says that he was hanging out when cops arrived at 1 a.m. Lake Charles Police Chief Sean Caldwell claims that they gave Leday multiple warnings to quiet down and leave before the arrest. Well, the Trump administration is changing which days Americans can now visit national parks for free next year, removing Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Juneteenth from the list, and instead adding Trump's birthday, which falls on Flag Day. For 2026, the Interior Department is calling the new schedule resident-only patriotic fee-free days. The updated list includes President's Day, Memorial Day, Flag Day, Trump's birthday, Independence Day weekend, the 110th anniversary of the National Park Service, Constitution Day, Theodore Roosevelt's birthday, and also Veterans Day. And we'll have much more news after the break. Stay with us. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Are you ready for the holidays? This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, we're talking about all things anxiety and the holidays, whether it's performance anxiety, presence versus presence, making certain that everybody in your space understands the boundaries and how to respect your home. This week, we're talking about those things that will allow you to have a peaceful holiday season.
It really is not about perfection. It's really about, you know, the house feeling warm and cozy and peaceful.
You don't have to like everybody, but what you can do is be cordial in those environments.
That's all this week on A Balanced Life.
Michael McMillan, President and CEO of the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Supreme Court heard arguments over presidential power. We've been here before, y'all, okay? And so this was a case that came up regarding Donald Trump. It's Trump versus Slaughter. So this is the case. Go ahead and pull it up. Go and pull it up there. So Trump versus Slaughter. Pull the graphic up, y'all. Thank you. So, again, this Trump case, and it all comes down to how much more power can they grant Trump. Now, this court has granted him a ton of power. Remember, even before he came back in office, they talked about presidential immunity and the additional powers that he have. Okay, now it appears a conservative majority is going to give him a big win. The court's 6 conservatives repeatedly signaled support for Trump's right to fire leaders of independent agencies like the Federal Trade Commission at will, no cause required. Justice Sonia Sotomayor pressed the Trump Solicitor General on the fallout if the court guts a 90-year precedent shielding commissioners from political firings.
Counsel Myers, which you rely on, was signed by a number of judges. One of them was Justice Sutherland, and he was the author of Humphrey's executor. So 4 out of the 9 justices who signed on to Myers signed on to Humphrey's. So you're thinking, or you're arguing, that the reasoning of the more current justices on this court have more purchase than the views of renowned jurists like Holmes and Brandeis, who dissented in Myers, of people like Justice Story, who disagreed with this proposition. You're suggesting that we have a better view than either Congress or all of those previous justices about what absolute executive power means. That's basically your argument. All those justices in the past have been wrong, and the current ones are right, or at least the current ones of the Shigella law majority.
I'd say 2 things in response to that. I think the court was correct in the following decisions: Ex parte Hennon, Parsons, Shurtleff, Myers.
Those all involve different and distinguishable situations. Now, with respect to the one component of government that you're not speaking about, when the FTC was created, as has been the case with most of these independent agencies like the Federal Reserve, particularly there, but not that much lesser with the FTC, Congress emphasized the importance of independency and the prestige that independence would give to the decisions of agencies who are going to subject the public to rules and regulations of which there might be burdens. And that independence is being taken out or undercut completely. Why are you so sure that Congress would have preferred to have the independence narrowed than not to have the agency at all? Some of my colleagues have suggested in prior cases that we shouldn't be engaged in the severability actions at all. But here you are arguing that, no, we should be doing that. Why? Are you going to be consistent?
The prestige, I would say 2 things in response to that. The prestige of the vesting of all the executive power in the presidents. That is the
according to the laws that Congress makes. And that's the point Justice Jackson was emphasizing. What you're saying is the president can do more than what the law permits.
I think I would repeat what I said before. There's a strong line of precedent recognizing that the text and structure of the Constitution confer on the president the exclusive and illimitable power to remove executive officers, and as a result of that, Humphrey should be overruled.
Folks, the case deals with Trump's ouster in March of FTC Commissioner Rebecca Kelly Slaughter. He defied Humphrey's executor, the 1935 ruling that's long insulated agencies from Oval Office interference. Of course, a decision could come down in June. Huge, a lot of different cases are going to be deciding. The thing here, Randy, is this here. What Trump has been doing is trying to, again, argue that essentially the person in the Oval Office is a king. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want. And so what this Supreme Court has done is like, yeah, go ahead. They have granted him significant rights, overturning precedent, because what this Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas has said it. Just because something is precedent, he even used the Plessy versus Ferguson, also the Dred Scott decision, by saying, well, that was precedent and it got overturned. So these folks are like, we can overturn anything what we want because we're the Supreme Court.
Right. And that's what they want to do. They want to give this president as much power as he possibly can have. They've made that very clear. But this is the thing. Democracy demands, it insists upon us having checks and balances, which means we should have some independent agencies that make them accountable, regardless of political affiliation or leanings or anything. That has always stood the test. That has always been the way our government was designed to work. But of course they don't want that, because they want Trump to have the power to fire people without any cause because they're not going with the way he wants them to go. And that's what he set up the Supreme Court to do. It doesn't matter what's right or what's wrong. It doesn't matter what the Constitution says. Just do what Trump wants you to do. Again, a dictatorship. So it's quite scary times right now, because we have some Supreme Court justices that are not going to live by the law, it seems as if, but they're going to live by, their honor and duty to Trump.
McCongo?
People always tell the story of like dictatorships happen because, a leader comes in with tanks and storms the presidential mansion and blah, blah, blah. This is how a lot of dictatorships actually form, where you have people who come in and use the democratic process to get to power and then use that power to destroy the democracy. And they get the people like the courts to go along with it. This is what is happening right here in the United States with Donald Trump. The fact of the matter is that this individual, Donald Trump, he is a lawless individual, but he's empowered the Supreme Court in so many ways to empower him. And they're going to realize one day that he's going to become too powerful for them to be able to control and bring those reins in. And that's why, going off what Randy said, it's really up to the people to stand up to really be the real check. Bayard Rustin said that we protested because we didn't have the right to vote. When you have the right to vote, you don't need to protest. We need to do that combination of both right now. And this Supreme Court has let us down at every single juncture. It has been the lower courts that have been stepping up, even Trump-appointed justices. But as been said many times right now in this society, we are on our own. And when I say we are on our own, I mean it's we the people. We are left. Congress is checked out. The Senate, the House, the Senate Republicans, they've copped out as well. It's up to the people to continue to stand up, to let Trump know that we can't have a king, and to let the Supreme Court know the same thing, because they are complicit in the destruction of American democracy, and we can't let it stand.
Jolanda?
All I can say is, as a lawyer, I guess I'm not surprised, because some people are just criminals and they just break the law. But as a lawyer, one of the first things we're taught in first year law school is something called stare decisis, which means precedent is everything. And Trump has done everything to undo that. He's been brilliant in having all the people that he's placed on the Supreme Court. I think what President Obama didn't appreciate when he was president was that they were going to vote against him, and he did things like they'd always been done in a gentlemanly fashion. And what we Democrats need to learn is, when we take power, we need to just roll people over like Trump is doing. When we take power, we need to change the composition of the Supreme Court, because those Supreme Court justices are so young, they will be there to be able to unwind the civil liberties that we've earned, Black people and other people for a century, and they're unwinding them, and they can destroy us for generations to come. So when we take back Congress and hopefully the Senate in 2026, and when we win the presidency in 2028, we need to change everything. We don't need to look at how things have always been done, because they are changing the rules, and we need to learn how to be gangsters. We need to increase the number of Supreme Court justices, because guess what? 3 never beats 6, which is the current composition of the conservative court. That's what we have to do. And so we need to start off in 2026, and we need to change the composition of Congress. He's been waiting for his time. The people, the people who want for Black people, brown people, poor people to be at the bottom have been trying to figure out for decades how to send us back to Jim Crow. That is exactly what they are doing, because this Supreme Court is absolutely going to rubber stamp anything that Trump wants, because the few Republicans, call them moderate if you'd like, who tried to stand up for Trump ended up eventually getting rolled over. And so everybody's terrified of him. So we need some brave people to run for office who are unafraid of Trump and who are unafraid of negative consequences to fight him. Because the one thing poor people need is we need people who will fight. We get that the system is designed to keep us down, but if we don't fight, who's going to fight for us? That's just what we need to do, because we, as Black, as brown people, as poor people, as gay people, as women, as poor people, we cannot count on the Supreme Court to protect us. We just can't.
Indeed. A lot of white conservative pastors, they love trumpeting Trump in the pulpit. Black preachers have been sounding off and speaking to their congregations. Here's my man, Pastor Jenkins, First Baptist Church of Glenarden, Maryland, speaking from the pulpit on yesterday.
So the people of Nineveh believed God, proclaimed a fast, and put on sackcloth, from the greatest to the least of them. Oh, I love that right there. When Jonah obeyed God, the people changed. And they believed God, and they proclaimed a fast. They put on sackcloth. That word, when it talks about somebody putting on sackcloth, that means they repented. And you know who did it? From the greatest to the least. Let me put it in today's language. Everybody. Everybody changed. Everybody changed. And then verse 6, then the word came to the king of Nineveh. And he arose from his throne and laid aside his robe, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat in ashes. When the people in the city changed, it caused the leadership of the city to change. Maybe if Americans would change, the leadership of America might change. I don't get. I better leave that alone. Let me just roll on. I can't handle it. I have a problem. I have a Houston, we have a problem. I don't get it. I don't get the support. I don't get it. I especially don't get people of color voting that way. Y'all see the claps are getting lower and lower. Some of them people here, some of them people who like him, voted for him, are here. Don't get mad because you ain't got no job. You voted for him. Please don't start me to cussing here today. Please, Lord. I better leave this alone. I feel something rising up on me. I feel something coming on me. Ooh. Did y'all hear that they stopped and took away Martin Luther King's birthday? Did y'all hear that? Yeah. That man caused a change. MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. caused this nation to rise up and recognize his wickedness. And they took away his birthday from being a national holiday. Ooh, I better roll on. I better roll on. I feel a cussing spirit rising up in me. I better take advantage of the fact that I ain't cussed out nobody all day today. Somebody thank God today. I haven't said a cuss word all day today. But I feel something rising up in me. And maybe if America would change, the leadership of our country would change.
I have no issues, Ome Congo, with preachers speaking truth, even by saying, yeah, some of y'all voted for them. Call them out and speak truth to power.
Well, I mean, if these white evangelicals can get up there and praise Trump and have signs up, and even going back to the Bush days, voting for Bush is voting for Jesus, and in every way, shape, or form, they embrace Trump, and they do it brazenly. So it's about time that, and I know they're having many black pastors, but we need more of them speaking up, not only speaking up, but recording it and putting it out there. Because even when we're watching a lot of these news networks, they always talk about, well, Trump's evangelical support is still raises high, but they never say white evangelical support, because black pastors of all faith, black or religious figures, I should say, have been speaking up against Trump, but they haven't been doing it loudly enough, and they have to do it from the pulpit. I mean, we come from a people where the church was so powerful, and I feel like, I'm not as connected to it as many other people, but just looking at it from a distance, I feel like that's something that we've lost over the last 20, 30 years or so, and right now we need to bring it back, because these white evangelicals for Trump, they're only growing stronger, not only in what they're saying, but the platforms that they're using to say it.
Jolanda?
So I absolutely agree. And I think we need to call people out, specifically. So here's what I don't understand. When people are struggling, people always preface what they say with, I'm not saying, you deserve, everybody deserves not to have a job or whatever, but you voted for Trump, or you deserve to be, deported because you voted for Trump, but no one really deserves that. My thing is, call people out, hold them accountable for what they do and the consequences of their actions. So if you know people, and one reason I think that a lot of the evangelicals don't is because Trump has this thing with vouchers, which I'm adamantly opposed to, where he's giving churches more money to open schools, to preach these things that are ungodly. And so all the pastors are doing are paying attention to if they get more money. They're not paying attention to whether their congregants have the money to pay their bills for everything. So I do think that we need to call a spade, and more black pastors need to do that. And I think we also need to talk about black men, because we listen to the talking about, black men are starting to vote for Trump. We need to have discussions about that in church and explain in black churches why that's nonsensical, why to vote for Trump, if you're a black man, is antithetical to black men rising. I just think that there are a lot of things that we need to talk about in church, and they stayed away from it. And now that the Supremes have given churches, I guess, the new right, because it was precedent that churches can get involved in elections, that churches can now get involved. I think we should speak more about it, since now the Supreme Court has given us carte blanche to talk about it in churches. And I think that the church has always been the opium of the masses for black people. Again, not just during the civil rights movement, but when we were enslaved. And so the church needs to do a lot of educating. And now, again, they can, and they can't get in trouble for it. They won't lose their tax exempt status. So I think that now they need to have courage to speak truth to power, and also speak to black people, because we are suffering, and we are suffering the most at every level for everything. And the pastors need to do that. And that's where I think that we as elected officials need to talk more to the pastors, so that we can educate them on how things really work. Again, going back to the conversation we had before, so that the church can explain these things to the congregants and explain to them why they need to pay more attention to politics, not less.
Randy.
I love seeing black pastors taking the role that they really used to have back in the day of leading the black community. It feels like it did back in the day. They are being courageous and giving us the word that we so desperately need. And I believe as they are courageous and are leading, more people will follow. I bet we're going to see an uptick in people going to church, because never in a long time have we needed this word so much. And so I appreciate it. I applaud it. Every week now, I'm just seeing clips of different pastors speaking passionately about what's happening in America in a way that speaks to us. And I must give a shout out to the organist, because did you see the way he was hitting on his message too? Nothing like a black church organist to hit on those messages and add to the drama as well. I appreciated that.
All right, then. Jolanda, I'm at Congo. Randy, I appreciate y'all joining us on today's show. Folks, that is it for us. Because of the breaking news and some other stories we could not get to, but we'll cover those on tomorrow. Don't forget to support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. If you want to support the work that we do via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. Just hit right here, bottom left-hand corner. That's also for credit cards. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Check some money order. Make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037 7-0196. Also, download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. If you want to get our Black Star Network, Roland Martin Unfiltered gear, you can do so, of course, by getting it right here. So going to shopblackstarnetwork.com, T-shirts, hats, merchandise, all that good stuff. Also, support all these black-owned products right here to my left. All these products you can see at shopblackstarnetwork.com. And so these are all black-owned companies. Right here, come on, show this right to my left. Get all of these products. Again, you name it, we got it. Go to shopblackstarnetwork.com if you want to purchase any of these black-owned products right here. Let's support black-owned businesses. And don't forget, folks, there's a few more days. Today is, of course, December 8th, just 10 more days in the crowd fund for Fanbase. They've raised $14.3 million. The goal is $17 million. Download the app from Apple Store, Android Store. And if you want to invest, get more information, startengine.com/fanbase, startengine.com/fanbase. Folks, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow right here. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.